What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show. We discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about on a daily basis, including money, investing, the stock market, the fourth stimulus check update, and a stimulus package update. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so. And remember that new videos come out here on our YouTube channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also, thanks so much for hitting the like button for us down below. We got a lot to talk about here today. We have more states considering state stimulus checks as well as the federal government here today. And the Congress could be voting here today on a major standalone bill that is a major deal here. Kind of a break off of the Build Back Better package, which includes prescription life saving drugs. We'll go over the details on that and what this could mean going forward here, including potentially in the future, Medicare for all and lowering the Medicare eligibility age. We'll hear from Senator Bernie Sanders on that. We got a lot to talk about here in this video as well, as Congress is kind of changing strategies here for the fourth stimulus package here. Remember that they're trying to consider possibly breaking off something into standalone packages, as you'll see here. I'm about to show you here in a moment. Also, we'll be doing the opening of the box here probably later today, so you can still vote or do your guesses here in the comment. So feel free to guess now, as it's completely free to do so. This will give some people some time to still guess. So guesses are still valid now, so feel free to guess, and probably we'll be opening the box and revealing the winners later today. So keep that in mind. So don't miss any new videos here at this point. Okay, so first up here today, the U.S. House of Representatives probably will be voting here today, as you can see here, this headline, to vote on a standalone bill to cap the cost of insulin, a life-saving drug for Americans. This is very important, and goes with the overall kind of capping the cost of prescriptions here for Americans. Here are the details. The House is expected to vote today on legislation aimed at capping the price of insulin. Democratic Majority Leader Steny Hoyer, a Democrat from Maryland, announced. Hoyer told reporters on Wednesday that it's, quote, inexcusable that people are being charged exorbitant prices for a life-saving, life-sustaining drugs whose costs have not increased and whose research costs have been amortized a very long period of time ago. Um, Insulin has been around for like 100 years, and I don't think there's very little new about it. And this is where prescription drug companies are just taking advantage of people. I'll show you details here in a second. House Democrats passed legislation in November as part of the Build Back Better package that would have allowed Medicare to negotiate lower prices for certain prescription drugs, including insulin and many other prescriptions for people on Medicare, Medicaid, and private insurances, people on private health care as well. But since that package remains stalled due to opposition from Senator Joe Manchin, they're literally singling him out here. But Senator Joe Manchin has now said he's on board with a new version of this that they're negotiating over now. Democrats are turning to more narrow measures that can pass both chambers, like this standalone bill. This bill, set for a House vote today, would cap consumers' out-of-pocket costs for insulin at $35 a month. The measure is authored by 3 Democrats facing competitive re-election races this fall: Representative Angie Craig from Minnesota, Dan Kildee from Michigan, and Lucy McBath from Georgia. Across the Capitol, there are bipartisan discussions, including Republicans that are in favor of this as well. underway for a bill to lower the cost of insulin that could come up for a Senate vote in the coming weeks as well. Senator Jean Shaheen said Tuesday that she has an agreement in principle with Republican Senator Susan Collins from Maine on legislation to drive down insulin costs that's broader than a bill from Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock that would cap the price at $35 as well. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer from New York said last week that the two measures could be paired together. As you can see here, the cost of insulin, there's several different types of insulin. Yeah, but here's a kind of example here, and different manufacturers and stuff like that. But between 2012 and 2016, the cost nearly doubled. A Humalog 50/50 vial costed an average of $390.23. David Tridgdell, a Minneapolis endocrinologist who had type 1 diabetes, said he was 15, or since he was 15, wrote in the Washington Post that patients with type 1 diabetes tend to use 2 or 3 vials of insulin per month at the cost of $390. This is back in 2012 and 2016. Okay. At the current cost of one vial of this, patients would now spend $780 to $1,170 on their insulin every month. Every month. Type 2 diabetes patients can require even more insulin per month, sometimes requiring 6 or more vials. This would add up to $2,341 or more per month. Per month. And Senator Grassley claims that this increase is tied to the business practices of manufacturers, health plans, and PBMs or pharmacy business managers because really the prices of insulin has not really increased. Insulin's been around for over 100 years. As you can literally see here listed in this article, they make money a percentage of a ballooning list price, so there's no incentive to lower price on a 100-year-old drug. Now, there is also kind of as a broader, we'll have to see what version they pass here, if they can pass it in the House, and what the bill comes of here today. I'll keep you updated here. Also, to see if we get any bipartisan support, if it's only Democrats that pass it, if Republicans come on and join. Um, I'll keep you up to date here. But also remember part of the Build Back Better package that passed in the House, but they were not able to pass it in the Senate because no Republicans voted for it, and Joe Manchin wasn't, and possibly Democratic Senator from Arizona, Kirsten Sinema, was maybe probably not going to vote for it as well, but we were in limbo there. Um, that bill would have lowered the prescription costs of any pharmaceutical drug that wasn't brand new to the market for like the first 6 or so years for anybody, people on Medicare and private insurance drugs as well. Remember, there's over 100 million Americans that take prescription drugs. So, lowering the cost, even if you're on insurance, lowering your co-pays, lowering your out-of-cost deductibles, this is a good thing because if you pay less money to your insurance, you pay less co-pays, you pay less premiums on a monthly basis. Remember that if your insurance pays less money, you're going to pay less money in the long run as well. You're going to pay less money in premiums. Remember, if a prescription costs $390, don't think that the insurance companies aren't billing you that in your monthly premiums. They're making you pay for it one way or another. They're not just all this stuff's kind of built in. And we know this kind of from Medicare, how Medicare Part B had increased their from that Alduham drug that they had to raise it from that really pricey drug that was approved here this year that they're trying to get rid of, or not that they're trying to get rid of, but it has drastically been reduced in price. And they're actually saying that this year we could see a reduction in Medicare premiums that you pay if you pay for Medicare. Remember that went up from $148.50 to $170.10. As you can see here, Medicare premiums could actually decrease this year after they're working on a decision, an official inquiry into the cost of this Alzheimer's drug, Alduham, has officially been reduced. The cost of this prescription that has been approved by Medicare was the initial cost was $56,000 for one patient for 1 year. And they've now reduced it by about half. I think it's around $28,000. So that alone is a significant savings, even though it's still enormous, enormous. But also, they have realized that the amount of people that are going to be taking this is a very, very small amount. You have to actually be in a clinical trial to actually be even approved to take this prescription, Alduham. So the amount of people that are even going to be getting this and the cost reduction of it is going to be a significantly small amount. So they're actually, as you can see here, they may be actually decreasing the cost of Medicare premiums this year in 2022. And there could be a rebate check, or they could dramatically lower the cost of Medicare premiums for 2022. So that is one thing that could happen, and I will keep you up to date here with this. Also, I want to show you a clip of Senator Bernie Sanders. He considers himself an independent, um, talking about the potential of Medicare for all instead of insurance by private insurance companies where they make billions of dollars from everybody. Check out what he has to say here. He has a kind of a long, lengthy speech, so I've kind of just clipped forward here instead of showing you everything because it would just take up a long time with this video. But listen to what he has to say here. It's pretty interesting.
The function of private insurance is not to provide quality care for all, but to make as much money as they can for their stockholders and to pay their CEOs outrageous compensation packages. That is why we need to move to a Medicare for all single-payer program. But as I think you understand, taking on the giant insurance companies, their lobbyists, their apologists in Congress, and the fear-mongering we face from the corporate media will not be easy. Just as one example, the pharmaceutical industry itself, just the drug companies, spent some $300 million in lobbying to make sure that Congress did not lower the outrageous cost of prescription drugs in this country. They had over 1,500 paid lobbyists on their payroll, 3 lobbyists for every member of Congress to protect their interest. And that's just the pharmaceutical industry. But the good news is, despite all of that, is that in recent years, more and more Americans have come to understand that the current healthcare system does not work for them and needs to be fundamentally changed. The pandemic, in which millions of workers lost their employee-based health care through no fault of their own, made the absurdity and the irrationality of the current system even clearer. And the increased support we are seeing for Medicare for All is coming not only from healthcare consumers, not only from ordinary people, but is coming from doctors and nurses and healthcare professionals all across the board. These healthcare practitioners want to be able to practice in a system that is designed to protect human health, not protect corporate profits. This Tuesday, my progressive colleagues in the House will be holding a hearing on Medicare for All, and I applaud them for doing that. In early May, as chairman of the Budget Committee, I will be holding a similar hearing, and we will be discussing on the committee the findings of the Congressional Budget Office, which determined that Medicare for All would not only provide coverage for every American as a right, but would save the healthcare system in our country hundreds of billions of dollars. This struggle for a healthcare system that guarantees care to all will no doubt be difficult. We are taking on some of the most powerful special interests in the world. But it is a struggle that must be fought, and together it is a struggle that we will win. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so let me know your thoughts. We pay more for prescriptions here in the US than any other country in the world for the exact same prescriptions that are sold by the exact same companies in countries like Canada or in Europe. We pay multiple times more money for the exact same prescription by the exact same company. And healthcare is exorbitant as well. And we also have more medical debt than any country in the world, I believe, as well. A lot of other countries don't even have what's called medical debt because they don't even have where people have to pay exorbitant amounts of medical debts. So, um, yeah, it's interesting thought. They've also been proposing lowering Medicare eligibility. Remember, it doesn't mean you have to be on Medicare, but it makes you eligible to be on Medicare. Medicare for all would also be the same possibility where anybody could join into Medicare and pay into the Medicare system if they want to. Private healthcare would still be, an option, I believe, if the system were to happen. Just like, Medicare right now, you could also be on private healthcare as well. And that could be an option in the future. You can let me know your thoughts here in the comments. Also, you can see here the state of Delaware. Lawmakers are drafting a bill for stimulus checks to residents. Just the latest state to consider actually drafting a bill for stimulus checks to residents. So we just literally here on a daily or weekly basis, we have more and more states considering drafting bills, voting on, passing, all in different stages of a stimulus checks here or stimulus programs. Actually, some are pausing state gas tax, some are doing stimulus checks, some are doing stimulus programs, lowering state taxes. Here's what Delaware is proposing. After weeks of discussion of providing some kind of economic relief to Delawareans, I always find it interesting these different states how they pronounce their people. Delawareans. All the states have their own kind of interesting name for each of their own people, and sometimes each state obviously when you pronounce them all for kind of like the first or second or third time, it's always an interesting an interesting proposition, right? To see if you're saying it the right way or not. Delawareans, right? Ohioans, Californians, and what was the other one I was saying the other day? I wasn't even sure if I was saying it right. I can't even remember. I think it was West Virginians. But yeah, nonetheless, it's always an interesting kind of word, right? State lawmakers and Governor John Carney plan to use part of the state's record-setting surplus to give each resident a $300 stimulus check, which I believe would be $600 for a married couple. And again, these are state stimulus checks, so these kind of add up because especially if we get a fourth federal stimulus check, states could, some people could be seeing double stimulus checks here as well. The $186.6 million plan paid out of the state's surplus would send a direct check to any Delawarean. Let me know if I'm saying that correctly. I think I'm saying that correctly. That filed a 2020 tax return because 2021 tax returns are not really finalized this year, impacting about 600,000 residents. Legislation is being drafted and expected to be introduced during the upcoming session break and up for consideration when the General Assembly returns in April. So, not that far away. Not that far away. The bill is expected to be fast tracked since it has support from Republican and Democratic parties, and Governor John Carney has already endorsed the effort. So, this one has a bright future because Republicans and Democratic parties support it, and the governor supports it. So a potential $300 stimulus check per person, and if you're part of a household with two adults, you're looking at 600, which a lot of families have two adults there. So he says, "quote My hope is these direct payments will provide some measure of relief for Delaware families who are dealing with higher costs at the grocery store and the gas pump," Carney said in a prepared statement. These direct payments to Delaware families are part of a broader responsible budget proposal that will invest in education, our economy, and Delaware communities, and increase our reserve to prepare our state for the future. Earlier this month, House Republicans from the state, I believe, unveiled a plan that would direct $100 stimulus checks to Delawareans in lieu of a cut of a gas tax. So this would be better. Delaware levies a tax on 23 cents per gallon of gasoline and 22 cents per gallon of diesel, according to the state code. That tax funds the transportation trust fund, which pays for road projects. So they're actually proposing a larger stimulus check now on the state level. Yeah, so let me know your thoughts here. Just another state proposing this here. And if you didn't watch my video, which I just did a really big video on a lot of different states that have state stimulus checks. Some have actually passed it, and as well as federal proposals. We have several different bills that could become law, and the federal, Congress is actually working on several of them, as well as these potential standalone bills. So I will keep you up to date here on everything here on what is happening on a daily basis. So make sure you're subscribed to our channel. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember those times so you don't miss out on new videos. After subscribing, which is completely free to do down below, click the bell icon next to the subscribe button so you get reminders on your device when we go live with new videos. You can click here to watch my newest video next. And this is that big video I just did, which goes over all the details of the recent stimulus check proposals and the ones that have actually passed on the state level. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.